is Oscar Wilde. I am the prosecutor in this case. I am 39 years of age. My father was Sir William Wilde, surgeon of Dublin and chairman of the Census Commission. He died when I was at Oxford in 1876. I studied at Trinity College, where I took a classical scholarship and the gold medal for Greek. I then went to Magdalen College, where I took a classical scholarship, a first in mods, a first in greats, and the Nugent Prize for English verse. I took my degree in 1876 and came down at once. From that time on, I have devoted myself to art and literature. In 1881, I published a volume of poems, and afterwards lectured in England and America. In 1884, I married Miss Lloyd, and from that date till now have lived with her in Tite Street, Chelsea. I have 2 sons, the elder of whom will be 10 in June, and the second 9 in November.
In 1891, did you make the acquaintance of Lord Alfred Douglas?
Yes. He was brought to my house by a friend. Before then, I had been acquainted with Lady Queensberry, and since then I have been a guest at her house many times.
Did anyone say that he had found letters of yours?
Yes. A man named Wood saw me in the rooms of Mr. Alfred Taylor and said he had found a letter in a suit of clothes which Lord Alfred Douglas had been good enough to give him.
Did he ask for anything?
I don't think he made a direct demand.
Did some man shortly afterwards come with another letter?
Yes. A man called and told me the letter, a copy of which had been sent to Mr. Beerbone Tree, was not in his possession. His name was Allen.
So, what happened at that interview?
I felt this was the man who wanted money from me. I said, I suppose you have come about my beautiful letter to Lord Alfred Douglas. If you had not been so foolish as to send a copy of it to Mr. Beerbone Tree, I would gladly have paid you a very large sum of money for that letter, as I consider it to be a work of art. He said, a very curious construction can be put on that letter. I said, art is rarely intelligible to the criminal classes. He said, a man offered me £60 for it. I said, if I were you, I would go to that man and sell my letter to him for £60. I myself have never received so large a sum for any prose work of that length. But I am flattered to think someone in England considers a letter of mine to be worth £60.
Was
There was
anything
someone
said?
Excuse me, I'm not finished. The man was somewhat taken aback by my manner and said, the man is out of town. I replied, he's sure to come back, and I advised him to get the £60. He then changed his manner a little, saying that he had not a single penny and had on many occasions been trying to reach me. I said I could not guarantee his cab expenses, but I would gladly give him half a sovereign. He took the money and went away.
So was anything said about a sonnet?
Yes. I said, the letter, which is a prose poem, will shortly be published in sonnet form in a most delightful magazine, and I will send you a copy.
Has this letter remained in your possession ever since?
Yes. I produce it here today.
I passed to the end of 1893. Did Lord Alfred Douglas go to Cairo then?
Yes, in December 1893.
On his return, were you seen lunching together in the Café Royal when Lord Queensberry came in?
Yes. He shook hands and joined us, and we talked on perfectly friendly terms about Egypt and various other subjects.
Shortly after that meeting, did you become aware that he was making suggestions with regard to your character and behavior?
Yes. Those suggestions were not contained in letters to me. In the end of June 1894, there was an interview between Lord Queensberry and myself in my house. Lord Queensberry called around 4 o'clock, not by appointment, accompanied by a man with whom I was not acquainted. The interview took place in my library. Lord Queensberry was standing by the window. I walked up to the fireplace and he said to me, "Sit down." I said, "I will not allow anyone to talk like that to me in my house or anywhere else. I suppose you have come to apologize about the statements you have made about my wife and myself in letters you wrote to your son. I shall have the right any day I choose to prosecute you for writing such letters." He said, "The letter was privileged as it was written to my son." I said, "How dare you say such things to me about your son and me?" He said, "You were both kicked out of the Savoy Hotel at a moment's notice for your disgusting conduct." I said, "That is a lie." He said, "You took rooms for him in Piccadilly." I said, "Someone has been telling you an absurd set of lies." He said, "Oh, I heard you were thoroughly well blackmailed for a disgusting letter you wrote to my son." I said, "The letter was a beautiful letter. And I never write except for publication." I then asked him, "Lord Queensberry, do you seriously accuse your son and me of improper conduct?" He said, "I do not say that you are it, but you look it, and you pose as it, which is just as bad. If I catch you two in any public restaurant again, I will thrash you." I said, "I do not know what the Queensberry rules are, but the Oscar Wilde rule is to shoot at sight." I then told Lord Queensberry to leave my house. He said he would not do so. I said I would have him put out by the police. He said, "It is a disgusting scandal." I said, "If it be so, sir, then you are the author of the scandal and no one else." I then went into the hall and pointed him out to my servant. I said, "This is the Marquess of Queensberry, the most infamous brute in London. You are never to allow him to enter my house again. It is not true that I was expelled from the Savoy Hotel at any time, nor did I take rooms in Piccadilly for Lord Queensberry's son. I was at the theatre on the opening night of the play, The Importance of Being Earnest, and was called before the curtain. The play was successful. Lord Queensberry did not obtain admission to the theatre. I was acquainted with the fact that Lord Queensberry had brought a bunch of vegetables with him.